I believe that our main product, that being our short film, and our two ancillary products, the film review and the poster for our short film, are all effective combined as a media package when considering the process of the film industry and distribution. There are certain strengths to our media package, but that's not to say it's without its limitations, and there are areas where we could have vastly improved on our media package. I particularly believe that our ancillary products were particularly effective in propelling the effectiveness of our film. Our poster, done using Photoshop, is successful in that it's very intriguing, and the use of blurred photography over a very still image of our male protagonist makes the film seem interesting and raises questions, and this is evident from some audience feedback we've done on our poster. Which shows that we're a group that's sort of experimenting with maybe a film that isn't so obvious on the surface of what it might be about. Our poster, I think, is particularly effective because it really enhances the mystery surrounding our film. From face value on the title and just the poster itself, you can't really tell that what's going to unfold in our film. Therefore, it could really be said that our poster and our film stand quite well aligned in propelling the idea that our film is mysterious, and it draws the audience in and raises a lot of questions. I mean, why is he standing there? Who is he? And what's going on around? Can he time travel? Is he some sort of god, or what's surrounding this character? And it raises a lot of questions that an audience might have about the film. Examples similar to our poster that have the same sort of effect would be Richard Ajuade's 2010 film Submarine. And the film poster, as shown, simply shows the male protagonist stood staring at the camera with all the title and tagline and screen block underneath. And from the image alone, you can't understand who the boy is he relevant, why he's relevant, and what happens to him. And this raises a lot of questions and could be argued to be one of the reasons why Submarine was so successful. I like to think that our film, similar to the Submarine poster, also encourages questions around our film. I'd say our poster is particularly effective because in a film industry now where originality is really the main feature of a film being distributed now, I think our film experiments with the conventions of a normal short film. A short film usually will stick to a point and be quite clear about what's happening right from the beginning, as a short screen time often means that there isn't much time to get into a deep meaning, whereas our film, I think, manages to push boundaries of maybe a more thought-provoking, more question-raising film, because our male protagonist is a very strange character that it's hard to know, is he imagining what's happening, or can he see into their minds, or and then the relevance of our characters, you start to think, does he know them? Do they know him? And I think These sort of questions are really what make our film stand out and would be particularly effective in the film industry now. Whereas films such as Inception, which have been critically evaluated for being very confusing in their plots, and I think our film manages to combine those conventions of a short film with the complexity of maybe a feature-length film like Inception, where you're not quite sure what is real, what is happening, what is make-believe. Our review, our masthead picture, features only our male protagonist. For a Little White Lies review, from much research I've done into the house style of how these articles were made, usually they would take just one picture that they would be able to sum up maybe an important feature of the film and use it as a masthead in the Little White Lies article for that film. The choice of our male protagonist as the main picture for our film illustrates the importance that he has, but then yet again doesn't give away too much about him for audiences not to read on. Our film review, I would say, is particularly effective. Managed to keep within a very strict house style that all the Little White Lies reviews follow, from the curved edges around the masthead picture to the alignment of all the text into columns, to the comparison of size of the film title, to the scoring system, to the main bulk of the article. Linguistically, our review also keeps to the conventions of a Little White Lies review, as Little White Lies often use a lot of descriptive language and intensifiers to convey the picture of the film, as the audience aren't able to see it in front of them. A lot of descriptive words are needed to picture that film. Keeping to all of these conventions of a Little White Lies film article house style has meant that our film review seems a lot more realistic and could well be misjudged for something that has actually appeared in Little White Lies. And I'd say this makes our film review a significant part of our media package. Hardly an amateur film, and really doesn't present us as inexperienced filmmakers due to the amount of research we've done into institutions such as Little White Lies. However, I would say there are limitations to how effective our ancillary products are in aiding our film. I think our film review dwells too much on atmospheres created in the soundtrack, where the soundtrack may be interesting for maybe a teenage audience. The main readership of Little White Lies, being 25 to 35, mainly males, may not be that interested in the similarities in the soundtrack to contemporary bands such as Wu Leaf, a band that certainly 25 to 35-year-old males may not really be that interested in when wanting to know about the film. This proves a limitation really, in that it seems like we haven't put enough effort into researching Little White Lies' target audience. Similarly, there's also limitations maybe on our poster that could have done with a little more improvement to make our ancillary products a bit more effective. Even though we had done previously a lot of research into posters, there were some key conventions that were accidentally looked over. Other small limitations of our poster would be that we are missing out the logo that we put at the very beginning of our short film of the production company fictional production company that we made up for our film to make it seem slightly more genuine, Indie the Kid production. However, this logo is missing from our poster, which seems to be a slight issue, and our poster doesn't seem as genuine as it could have been. I think our film is very effective as a whole media package of our main film and our two ancillary products, the review and the poster. I think we've anticipated the way that the film industry is changing. Recently, well, within the last 20 years, there's been the movement towards digital, and us using a HD camera for the production of our whole film, and then when it came to our ancillary products, such as the poster and the review, Apple Mac software such as Photoshop and InDesign allowed us to make these products, and without the digitality of the film industry now, I don't think we would have been able to make a particularly effective film. Therefore, I think we'd seem very effective in the film distribution industry, as we're able to keep up with how the industry is moving now towards a much more digital way of making films. The film industry now is obviously a minefield of talent, and obviously not every talent can be made into a film, as there's a lack of funding for most directors. However, I think we would appeal as we're pushing the boundaries of a short film. We're maybe making a film that might require more than just the one watch for you to fully understand it. And I think that's maybe why we would be more likely and more effective to get funding from companies such as the National Lottery, who do a lot of funding for films, or maybe even gain attention from larger TV film and feature-length film companies such as Film 4, who would maybe pick up on maybe the uniqueness of our film and that would provide sponsorship for us. Our film is also really interesting as it really offers a diverse range of not just genre but also in pace in our film. I think that there are dramatic highs and lows in how the audience are going to feel, with the amount of pace that we use differing from very slow, very thought-provoking scenes, maybe in the pregnant teenage girl scenes, where you're left for a long time to maybe empathise with the character of how she's feeling in a household that maybe won't accept her condition, up to a very visual scene for our bullied teen character, where we're able to see the sort of paranoia running through his head. Similarly with our post-traumatic stress disorder soldier, the pace of the film increases largely, and especially in our bullied teen scene, the amount of cuts increases much more than in previous scenes with, say, the pregnant teenage girl scenes or the superhero scenes. The larger amount of cuts in our bully teen scene really bring up the pace from what has been previously a quite slow pace for most of the film. And this variety of pace, I think, will sort of keep audiences interested and would suggest a really effective film in creating a diverse palette of image in such a short space of time.